Hello, everyone. I'm Hussein Maliki. I'm the co-founder of Kimia Science. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Kimia Science webinar series. We are excited to have you join us today, and we encourage you to stay tuned for more informative webinar series in AI, in chemistry and drug discovery in the future. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. Sarabjeet Kaur. Sarabjeet is a highly accomplished multidisciplinary chemist with extensive experience in the field of drug discovery. She is currently affiliated with KU Leuven in Belgium. Please do not hesitate to type in your questions in the chat. We try to ask as many questions as possible in the end of our presentations. Sarabjeet, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk about this interesting topic. So today I'm going to discuss about ethical consideration AI-driven drug discovery. So thinking about the drug discovery, the discovery of new drugs, it is basically a very expensive and expensive process, and normally it induces very significant costs. So AI is emerging as a solution to this. So it is basically reducing the whole timeline for the discovery of new drugs and also making the things much easier. There are various ways in which the AI is transforming drug discovery. For instance, it's accelerating the drug development by reducing the timeline for it, making more effective drug. That is by analyze. So there are basically certain kind of machine learning predictive models. So these kind of models you can with these kind of models you can predict the chemical characteristics of different kind of structures, and using those structures you can decide which one drug is going to be more effective. So in that way, you can shortlist from a wide range of chemical structures, which structures you should proceed with. So furthermore, it improves the clinical trial designs. For example, there are some AI wearable devices which you can wear during the day, and they can, real time monitor your heartbeat, your blood pressure, etc., which can further be used for the clinical trials. So in this way, it really makes the whole measurement process very efficient and very accurate. Furthermore, it can help in the prediction of drugs bioactivity. Now, there are some experiments people have been doing, like molecular docking, structure relationships, which basically gives you information about how efficient your drug will be. So basically, you start with a candidate and you try to see how it interacts with the protein, which causes the disease, which can be infectious or non-infectious disease. So beforehand, doing all the experimentation, you will have some idea like how efficient your candidate will be. Further, you can use the AI in quality assurance. So there are some computer vision algorithms which can automate the whole process and can see the different kind of defects, manufacturing defects, contamination, and packing inconsistencies. And in that way, it can help in quality assurance. Then in other way, it can also help in drug repurposing. So for example, you have lots of drugs for different kind of diseases, and you want to see if there are other kind of uses for them. So if there is other therapeutic applications which can be applied. So AI can help you in estimating that too. Then normally, for example, for the cold medicines, other kind of medication, you have a combination of the drugs. And if you have to find other candidates which can be combined together as a drug, you have to do the drug combination analysis. So AI can help you in understanding if the two candidates can react with each other, interact with each other, or what will be the optimal dosage which you can apply. So in that way, AI can transform drug discovery. The lastly is the patient certification. So it's basically a big task in deciding which kind of subgroup of patients do we have to select for our drug for our clinical trial experiments. So AI can help in deciding that specific kind of patients which have the profiles that match with the disease. So in that way, it can help. So from this all, we see that drug discovery can be revolutionized using AI by reducing timeline, reducing the cost, and by using different kind of AI-powered platforms that can enable the analysis of vast amounts of data quickly and accurately. So far, so good. And now, if we predict the rise of the AI-driven drug discovery, now it's estimated that from March 2022 to the next 10 years, there will be around 20% fold of increase in the drug discovery market size in which AI will be involved. So, in an analysis by BCG in March 2022, they found that the biotech companies they are using AI first approach have more than 150 small molecule drugs in discovery and more than 15 already in clinical trials. So, this actually shows how revolutionary AI could be to the drug discovery. Now, with that comes the thorny issue of ethical consideration. An example is given by John Mitchell, which is a theoretical chemist from the University of St. Andrews. So he gives an example of AI-driven medicines. So these are kind of medicine which are personalized based upon your genetic code. So that means that your personalized genetic material, genetic information is out there. It's available. It's not personal anymore. And should the insurance agencies have access to such kind of information? Or do you want your family members to know about it? For example, if a person has more probability of getting a diabetes in the coming future, he or she would he or she want his or her family to know about it or not? So with that comes the issue of privacy of the data of the patient. So patient rights and privacy. So during this whole trial experiments, what happens is that the sensitive patient data will be accessed by AI. So in that case, it needs to be considered what are the ethical implications of data privacy and informed consent. So for that, there are various guidelines which are being discussed so that there are some standard guidelines which must be followed, which ensures that the patient rights are protected. Second is the biasness and fairness. Now, AI has the potential to amplify errors and pre-existing biases. For example, if there is a study for a particular drug, and in that study, the underrepresentative demographic groups like from Africa or from other regions of the country, where they are not represented well in the data, so they will be underrepresented, or they will their contribution will not be accounted for. So what will happen is that when the drug is launched into the market, we will not know that if it will be effective for those people or not. So that biasness basically amplifies. And this unfortunately results in unequal access to medical treatment and unfair treatment of certain groups of people. So with these issues, now EU and US drug approval authorities, they are basically trying to think over it and trying to find out like what kind of guidelines should be put forward to combat these issues. For example, the ethic guidelines for the trustworthy AI has been given by EU. Now these are 7 ethic guidelines. First is the human agency and oversight. Now they have emphasized that the ultimate decision maker needs to be humans. So either it could be human in the loop. Human in the loop means that the human will be involved in the whole decision-making process, or it could be human on the loop. That is that human will monitor the whole process while AI will do it. Or human in the command. That is the ultimate decision-making will be humans. So these are the things that needs to be taken into account. Second is the technical robustness and safety. Now for whatever purpose the AI is used, the whole process need to be technically robust and safe. So the results needs to be accurate and they should be reproducible. And if there is some error, there should be some backup mechanism through which that error could be eliminated. Third is the privacy and data governance. So patient's data, it will be available for the AI. Now there should be some guidelines that helps in protecting that data, the privacy of that data, and make sure that the data does not fall into the hands of the people who are unauthorized. So the access should only to the people who are authorized for access. And then transparency. The whole decision-making process, if it is taken out by the AI, the whole process should be outlined, like how the AI was able to get into that particular decision. So the whole process needs not to be a black box, but it should be very clear. Then the diversity, non-discrimination, and fairness. Again, the underrepresented groups, they needs to be represented, they needs to be contributed, and a diverse amount of data set needs to be included for any kind of drug discovery program. Then the societal and the environmental well-being. The ultimate aim of the AI should be the well-being of this generation and the future generation. And the process through which it is doing it should be sustainable. For example, if you have data centers that are running the AI, they need to basically work on energy efficient technologies so that it does not produce any harmful, byproducts to the environment. Now, lastly is the accountability. Now, this is a very interesting question that if an AI makes an error, who will be responsible for it? For instance, EU has this face recognition system through which if it can recognize if the passenger is the same person or not. Now, if it makes a mistake and if it misidentify a person, the person will miss his or her flight and there will be consequences. And who will be accountable for that? So really precise guidelines, really precise rules needs to be made for that. Then FDA of the US is also published a discussion paper and thinking about these guidelines that are basically concerned with the risk associated with uses of AI, ML in therapeutic development. And what are the ways in which we can address them? The risk involved, as we have discussed, the biases in data used to train the ML algorithm, the inaccuracies, the completeness of the data, and also to make sure that the models are reliable, relevant, and consistent over time. That is, the data that we obtain from them should not fluctuate. Also, UNEXO gave some recommendation regarding the ethics of the AI, and these are more or less similar to the ones that have been given by the EU. So they again re-emphasize the importance of safety and security, right to privacy and data protection, the responsibility and accountability, the transparency and explainability, the importance of human oversight and determination, and being a sustainable process, and the awareness and literacy, that is the people needs to be educated about the consequences, about the uses, about the transparent process of AI. And of course, the fairness and non-discrimination. So basically, all these recommendation comes to the point that there needs to be a right balance between the innovation and ethical practices so that the AI is being used responsibility and in the best interest of the patients. The concerns regarding the data biases and fairness and transparency of the algorithms, these need to be eradicated. And third, the most important, potential impact on the workers, basically, and provide support for those who may be affected. For example, due to automated process, more and more automation is being incorporated into the industries. So people are losing jobs because of that. Some people are losing jobs. So what kind of support can be provided for them? So these need to be included. So what are the suggestions that are underlying in all these kind of guidelines? AI systems, they need to be trained on diverse and representative data. That is, the people from diverse backgrounds, diverse demographic groups needs to be included so that the whole data set is complete and when a drug is launched into the market, it is effective for each kind of ethnic group. Again, it should not be set in the stone. It should be regularly reviewed and audited for biases. So AI systems need to be regularly audited, regularly reviewed and revised. And then each AI system should be imbibed with strong data privacy and security protocol. So that the patients, they are totally carefree about it, that their data is protected. It will not be handed over to wrong hands. So certain security protocols need to be imbibed in that. So overall, we can say that AI-based approaches, they can complement traditional methods, but they cannot really replace the human expertise. The human component, it needs to be included in the whole process. So that was the whole discussion about it. I'll be looking forward to any questions if someone has it. Hossein, I cannot hear you. Yeah,
Sorry, I
okay.
think I was mute. Thank you very
Mhm.
much. It was a great presentation and great topic because I think I haven't seen a lot of topics like conversations around this topic, so it was very useful for me. I see one questions in the chat,
Mhm.
and that is, what would be reasonable approach for updating guidelines in the future given the dynamic nature of AI?
I think, as I said, that we cannot set in stone. I mean, there will be some guidelines that will basically try to, take into account the patient private, the data associated with the patients. It needs to be, protected, and there should be informed consent, and the biasness, basically, it needs to be reduced. But that is all the information we have right now. I think for my personal perspective, the guidelines should be open to be revised because
Mhm.
in next 10 years, maybe there will be other issues that may crop up and we need
Yeah,
to revise them again.
yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah, it cannot be set in stone. But at this moment, the two major crucial issues that people are seeing are this biasness and the privacy, the privacy of the data.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. I also have a question. Just want to make sure on slide 5 there was a plot, and
Yeah.
if you don't mind to bring that.
Yes, yes, of
Um,
course. Yeah.
yeah, so for here, you are saying that by 2032 there will be
Mhm.
$14 billion in saving
Yes.
if they
Yes.
use
It is
drug
predicted.
AI. Okay, it's
Mhm.
pretty
Yes.
okay, perfect. And also,
Mhm.
I had a question that you answered in the slide 10. My question was that for
Mhm.
AI, it's the quality of data and also the
Yeah.
algorithms. So in order to get the best result, we need to work on this too. And my
Mhm.
thought was that what's the organization or entity that's like
Mhm.
oversight on this and then you explained that FDA plans to release AI.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
I got my response. Yeah, thank you
It's
very
okay.
much.
Yeah. Mhm.
Perfect. I don't think that we have any more questions, but I
Mhm.
want to thanks again. That was a great
You're
presentation.
welcome.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Have a good day.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.